Hey guys, welcome to the channel Deep South Overlander, and today what we're going to do is assemble the Dissent Off-Road modular bumper, tire carrier, and fold-out table. This is a bumper that I've ordered 19 weeks ago. I have just received it, and before I assembled it, I thought that I would make a little video because the scarcity of the material that's available as it pertains to putting that bumper together. Now, Ben Calhoun and his team are very busy. They've been cranking out those bumpers, and the documentation to put it together is lacking. But with a little help from all of us, I think that it will be a great help to them, and we're going to get that started. Now, before I go any further, I want to show you the various pieces that are available in the kit. It is worth noting that some of you may not know, but even though you may order the steel bumper, some parts will be made out of aluminum, and this is as per Ben's explanation in order to save some weight. And so what you will see tonight on the tire carrier and the fold-out table is indeed mostly made out of aluminum, except the tire carrier itself, which is a big hunk of steel. Everything else is going to be made out of aluminum tonight. We have all the grade 8 hardware available. We have the washers, the bolts, everything else that we need to assemble it. Now, the great thing that Ben and his team have been very kind to us to label all the hardware and put everything on each different element of this kit into Ziploc bags, and each team member from Ben's crew is actually signing off as they package the various pieces of hardware. So this is very valuable. As we go through the hardware, I'll show you what they are, and then I'll zoom out on this so you can see everything that's included. I'm not going to take the risk of reading this because, well, I'll mess it up. So anyway, here we have the tire carrier. Here we have the fold-out table. Some of you may not order the fold-out table, so you will see that I'm going to assemble everything together, but if you don't order the fold-out table, then just forget about that piece. The tire carrier assembly will be the same. In order to assemble all of this, I've prepared some tools. We have 3/4 inch ratchet, open end ratchet. We have 1/2 inch. Then we have a socket set. We have 3/4, 1/2 inch, 11 millimeter. And then we have a 4 millimeter Allen wrench. And this is it. This is all we need in order to assemble that. So I'm going to grab the camera and I'm going to show you the various pieces in that kit, and then we'll go right along and build this. Now, I just realized that as it is indicated here, it says use anti-seize on stainless. Well, I left the shop and I didn't take my anti-seize, so I'm back at home. What I will do is I will just do a dry installation right now, a dry assembly, sorry, and then tomorrow when I'm back at the shop, I will put it together. So this is going to be the multi-part of the whole entire bumper assembly. I thought that it was going to be easier to do it like this, not only for me because I'm fairly new to this game and that's only my second video, and in this one I'm actually going to be live talking as opposed to dubbing what I'm recording, so please forgive me if I make a few mistakes. And then like I said, this is going to be a multi-part video. So we're going to do the tire carrier. I've also ordered the jerry can carrier. My bumper is a dual swing out. So one swing out will have the tire carrier, another swing out will have the jerry can holders and the high leaf jack, and then of course the base bumper. So tire carrier, jerry can holder, base bumper will probably be a total of, I'm thinking 4 videos total to do the whole thing. Easy. So without further ado, I'm going to get myself together, and then we're going to start assembling all of this. Now, keep in mind, I've never done it. There is zero information. Well, actually, that's not true. Ben was kind enough to send me a reference of I Hate Mud article that he did where there is a little bit of information available. Now, it is a little bit dated. It's one of his first iteration of bumpers. So I've read this several times already. I think I'm good, so bear with me. I may make a couple of mistakes, but hopefully at the editing stage I'll make sure that it's a pretty clean video. Okay, so let's get to it. We're gonna start by taking the plate that is actually going to end up the closest to the vehicle with this tire carrier assembly. We're gonna rotate it like such. We're gonna take the support that is going to help the tabletop rest, and we're going to bolt it right here. So it goes like this, and in order to do that, we're gonna take one bolt. We're gonna put a little nylon washer. These washers help the whole assembly pivot on itself and prevent the binding. So there is a washer that's gonna go right in between, like this, in between those two pieces of aluminum. So that's gonna be a little complicated to put it in, but what I do is I'm gonna put the first bolt like this, and then I'm going to insert that washer and catch it with my little Allen wrench right here as it passes through the hole. And I will center it, and then I will use that to guide my bolt through the washer itself. Okay, still a little bit comp. There you go. So that's the first part. On the other side, we put another nylon washer, and finally we put the nylock lock nut. We'll repeat on the other side. Bolt, nylon washer. Don't forget to insert that little washer in between the two pieces of aluminum. It's a little tight. I'm going to use my little Allen wrench here to catch it. I want to make sure that it's lined up properly. You can even use another washer if you want to sort of push it in. There you go. Then you line it up. Right there. Take your bolt, line up everything. Put your little nylon washer, your nylock nut. So like I said, I'm not going to time these very hard because I don't have ATCs. So I'm just going to basically bring them together, and there it is. So that part is done, and we'll pivot like this. It's very secure. It's tight. There is no play whatsoever. So that's the first part right there. So for the next phase of this installation, we're gonna grab the other major piece of that tire carrier. That's the piece with the little Dissent Off-Road logo that will actually face out, or it will be sort of covered by the tire as the tire carrier comes this way. So we grab that piece from the table, and then we take the other piece that we just assembled, and it's going to sit just like such right there. So as you can see, this forms sort of like a basket, if you will. You can see it right there. Okay, all right, so there you go. Here we're gonna grab two of these 1/2-inch bolts. We're gonna grab a washer, put the bolt through like such. Take another bolt, put the washer, put it through, and on the other side we're gonna do a washer and a nylock 1/2-inch bolt. I'm gonna tighten this. Right now I'm just gonna finger tight everything so I can have a little play, and as I continue on this assembly. All right, the next step of the process is to install the two brackets that will be at the top. Again, this is the top of the tire carrier. You can see the Dissent logo. So these two hinges, or brackets if you will go like this and like this. and then the tabletop will be connected to this and fold down onto the front of that bracket. Okay, so in order to put these brackets, we have the right bracket here. We're gonna grab another one. We're gonna break 1, 2, 3, 4 of these 1/2-inch bolts. We're gonna bring 1, 2, 3, 4 of these washers, and then 4 of the nylon nuts. Okay, and the way this is going to be assembled with the bracket, take the bolt, put a washer, put the bolt through, grab the nut, and put the nylon nut. Bracket. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring all these 6 bolts right here tied together. Again, I'm not going to torque anything because tomorrow I will disassemble it, and I'm going to do that, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I'm just going to time this just so they're close together but not completely tight. All right, so now we have the beginning of the bracket. Oh, forgot this one. There you go. All right. So this will be facing you when you face the back of your car, and this will be the inside of the carrier. And again, this part will swing out and receive the table, and that will the tabletop will rest on this. All right. So I think the next logical step is to bring in the tabletop and assemble this. I'm gonna give this one a little bit more. It's not quite where I want it to be. Right there. Okay. So you'll see if I bring the table, basically what happens is the table. Whoops. Put this. The powder coating on these pieces is absolutely excellent. So if I bring you the table like this and I face, so this will be closest to the car. Essentially, the table is going to sit like such on this bracket, pivot down, be stored. We're going to install a little latching mechanism right here. And when it pivots up like this, I'll try to do that. This part will unfold, and the table will rest perfectly flush on that little thing. Here there are 2 little grooves you see in the table, those 2 little slots. That's so the piece locks, the table locks onto this and then does not move. Okay. All right. So now what we do, fold this, put this back on the table, and essentially what we need to do now is install the tabletop. So because the tabletop is going to articulate like this, we're going to have the same sort of pivoting mechanism. We're going to take the bolt, a nylon washer, insert it through the outside of the tabletop, in between this plate and the bracket. We're going to insert another nylon nut, nylon washer. So we're going to do the same trick that we did, which is I'm going to take my little Allen wrench, which is right here. I'm going to sort of slide this little bugger here. Make sure that I grab the center of it. Line up everything. Come on. There you go. And then I'm going to take that bolt. Whoop. I moved everything. Let's see, is it lined up? There you go. Okay, and then from the inside we'll have one more nylon washer. And so if I show you, that little nylon washer is going to be, I hope you can see that right here. Actually, it's a lot easier if I do it on this side, so I'm going to do it like this. Put the nylon washer, and then finally the nylock nut. All right, now repeat one last time. Bolt, nylon washer in between the table and the bracket. So I'm going to use my little trusty Allen wrench and maybe like another little washer to push it in. Oops, I think it came apart. Sorry guys. Again, I'm doing this live. This is the first time I ever filmed myself doing this, so please forgive me, but I think we will work together and it will be great at the end. Okay, so I think it's lined up. Grab the bolt, put the bolt through, nylon washer, nylon nut, well, I think it's called nylock nut. Grab your 1/2 inch, tighten everything together. It doesn't need to be torqued really hard. The nylock will hold it in place. It just needs to be just so. You don't want it to be loose, you just want it to be tight. Now the great part about obviously this modular bumper is as you utilize the table, move it, it's gonna shake a little bit on the trail or whatever. These nylon washers can be replaced really easily. If I had my guess, they would be Teflon, but all right. So now the tabletop is installed on the tire carrier. We can flip the table up, deploy the little support, put it up, and there you go. We got the table. Okay, so now that the tabletop is installed onto the back of the carrier, the tire carrier, all we have to do is assemble that little latch. Again, that little latch is going to feed through this hole right here, and then twisting it will lock the tabletop to the carrier. So in order to do that, we have the little latch itself. It has a beveled receiver that will get the head of that bolt so it sits perfectly flush. After that, we're going to put that little nylon spacer. We're going to put a nylon spacer, another thinner nylon spacer, feed this through, and then on the other side we're going to grab a washer and the nylon nut. And what we do is I'm going to bring this up like such. I'm going to grab your 3/16 Allen wrench there from the back side. You're going to bring your 1/2 inch, and then we're going to tighten the whole assembly. I'm not quite sure why this bolt is so long. It doesn't need to be that long, honestly, but anyway. So we're going to bring it a little tight, okay? So there you go. This is how it's going to look like. All right, so you have the latch, you twist it, you deploy your table, you lift up your table, you deploy the armrest, or support of the table, put the table on. You lift the table, push the support, bring the table down, and then latch it in place. And there you go. Absolutely does not move. Now, as I mentioned before, we have some little foam that's supposed to be, you know, a protection. So if you look at it, actually I see now where it touches. Essentially, we need to cover these right here. They touch. The head of those bolts right there actually make contact with the table. So I think what we need to do is sort of guessing where this is. And I'm not sure, yeah, only two. Yeah, because you see these bolts don't touch, but the two that are underneath right here, these actually touch the table. So we're going to use this little rubber piece that Ben provides, and we're going to put it right here, and that's going to rest and prevent those bolts from damaging the powder coating on the table itself. So let's see. How are we gonna do that? Well, I have an idea. We're gonna, I don't think that we need to use absolutely all of them. All we need to do is using probably just two little spots right here and right here, because this is really the only place it makes contacts. Yep, just those 4 bolts really. So hey, I'm gonna use my little Swiss Army knife here. Never leave the house without a Swiss Army knife. How about that? I'm gonna cut a little piece. I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna do this. Voila! Press on it. What happens now? Ta-da! All right. Okay, if your OCD bothers you and you would like everything to be lined up, well, it's not gonna be for you. But the point is, it's flush. I can lock it. It's tight. It doesn't move. It's not gonna rattle. It does its job. So there you go. Again, when you get to camp, open your swing out, lift up the table, deploy the support, and voila, great little tabletop. Okay? So one more piece of foam that I'm thinking now is put a little bit of foam here, so when we put this this support against the back of the tire carrier, it doesn't rattle. So here it's easy because I can see it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut a slightly bigger piece. We're gonna do about this big right here. And this one, I'm just gonna stick it right there. Okay, so yeah, maybe I'll just do this. Yeah, maybe no. Maybe I'll do like this. Yeah, that right here. Perfect. Right there. So now everything is secure, perfect, no rattling whatsoever. Gives it just a little bit more sort of force against the table as it forces back towards the lash, and that's just going to prevent any rattling whatsoever. So great little piece of foam. Okay, so I think that concludes the installation of the table behind the tire carrier. And now I think what we have to do is move toward attaching the actual tire carrier to this big bracket thingy stuff. Okay, so I'm going to take a break, grab some water, and I'll be right back. All right, so now that we have installed the tabletop onto the tire carrier, what we need to do is install the 2 brackets that will support the actual tire carrier, as well as the sort of tilting mechanism, which will allow you to position the tire fore and aft against or away from the hatch of the car, and finally to tilt it, whether you want it to have a little tilt or be more vertical behind your tailgate. All of that is adjustable, and it's adjustable via this bracket and what is called a swash plate. So if you see this bracket in the back has 2 slots, and if you keep this still, you will see that then the bracket can then pivot around this arc. Okay, that's called a swash. And what that allows to do is, once we put the tire carrier in that slot, will fit into the whole assembly with those big lag bolts, and the whole assembly will be able to pivot to tilt if you want, and then slide in and out to put the tire as close of your tailgate, or in the for a 100 series, it's actually a lift gate. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, so in order to install the swash plate, you just I'm going to show you. I just installed it prior to starting the video. You take this bracket, okay, right there, that's 2 holes, 2 slots, okay, and you're going to put the bolt, again it's a 3/4 bolt with the washer, and you're going to put that through like this, through the bracket. You're going to flip it around. You're going to take the swash plate and put it here so it fits these 2 holes. Swash plate is kind of like a triangle, right, with holes, and you're going to put it like this. So these 3 holes line up. This hole lines up at the bottom, which is the pivoting hole, and then those 2 slots right here, they will also receive a bolt. So again, if you keep, let me put a bolt right here. If you keep this bolt secure in place, you can then pivot around this, and that's the swash action. Okay? So take this one out. So again, you take a bolt, you take the washer, you put it right here in the top slot, not the bottom, which is going to be the fixed hole, but you put it in the first slot. So if you flip it, it will look like this. You take another washer and you take a 3/4 bolt, nut, I'm sorry, and then you put it like this. I'm not going to tighten it, I'm just going to basically finger tighten it. Okay, so that bracket is now done. You have the other bracket. The other bracket only has those 2 little sides right here, and then this big plate. Okay, and this little threaded hole, a lot of people have asked what this is. This is to receive the high lift jack support. If you don't have that, then you can put a CB antenna or something using that bolt. That insert. Okay, so then we're going to take that bracket, and you have the tire carrier with the table facing toward you. I'm going to grab that bracket and put it like this, like such. I'm going to grab a 3/4 bolt, a washer, and I'm going to put it in this hole. So you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. I'm going to go to the 3rd hole from my right or your left. 1, 2, 3. Right there. On the other side, I'm going to take another washer and a nut, and I'm going to need to put that down in order to go put the washer and the nut. Okay. Again, just finger tight for now. So on this side, we're going to repeat. I'm going to take a bolt, a washer, feed it through, take another washer, the nut, and go place that on the other side of the bolt, just as such. Okay? So now that we have this done, we're going to take the tire, we're going to take that other bracket and we're going to repeat, but we're going to make them so this bracket faces like this. I'm going to show you so you can get an idea. So you have this bracket that faces like this. This one is going to face like this. And the tire carrier is going to come in between, and through the slots of the tire carrier, we're going to put this big light bolt all the way through to both brackets into the swash plate, the fixed hole, and then the second one is the pivoting hole. So again, this will be able to pivot on an arc, bringing the tire carrier, or tilting it rather. Okay, so we're going to attach this, and then we're going to put the tire carrier through. So to attach this bracket, we're going to do the same manipulation that we did. Bolt, washer, through the hole, another washer, another bolt. Again, everything is finger tight. These definitely will have NTCs, and so tomorrow at the shop I'm going to properly disassemble it, put NTCs everywhere, on stuff. All right. On the other side, bolt, washer, through the hole, another washer, another bolt. You have to sort of play with this. Imagine you have a giant erector set and you're 50 years old, and it's pretty damn great, isn't it? All right, this is the same thing. This is an erector set for a grown up. So take that tire carrier. You're gonna put the 2 bolts are going to be up. I'm gonna put it like this. We're gonna take those big lag bolt, washer. We're gonna feed it through this, I don't know if you can see, but this slotted. I'm gonna orient this right this. So we're gonna put it through this first slot right here, and it's gonna match the slot on the other side. All these brackets are slotted, so when you tighten everything, it becomes very, very tight, and there's no movement whatsoever. We take another washer and go on the other side of the lag bolt with the nut. I'm going to show you when it's all sort of finger tight what it looks like, so you know what it looks like and how it goes and how it functions, how the tilts happen. All right, now another lag bolt, another washer. This time goes at the bottom, and I'm gonna need to lift that up. You see how this actually slides? It's supposed to do that. This is what we want. And we're gonna go through it, and this is gonna correspond to the fixed anchor point of that swash bracket. Putting a little NTCs will greatly make the threading of these bolts easier, for sure. All right, so now it's assembled. It's still very, very loose, keep that in mind. But basically, what it looks like is like this. So remember, this is gonna be facing out, and you see that you have now through the swash mechanism. Now keep in mind this is just finger tight, or not even tight. You can have adjustment like this, and you can have adjustment like this. So fore and aft, and up and down on an arc. So it's going to allow you to put the tire at an angle that you like, either angled or more straight. And then finally, this fore and aft will allow you to put the carrier very close to your lift gate, so it will greatly reduce the amount of vibration. And actually, I think that I've heard that the way to really set this up is to put the tire so it almost rests on the base bumper. So when you have everything latched together, everything is tight and doesn't bounce around. Okay, I'm back. So we're going to just tighten this tire carrier bracket. This is the part where it's going to scratch a little bit because pieces move against one another. However, like I said, the powder coating is really extremely well done. So you're going to see some marks, but it shouldn't take the whole powder coat out. So I'm going to grab my 3/4 socket. My 3/4 flat, open ratchet. I'm gonna give this a little nudge right here, and this there. I'm gonna go ahead and just tighten these, so not too much, because again, I'm gonna disassemble this, and evidently that piece will need to be really adjusted, function of how much tilt you want. So we're just going to do this loosely. There. Yeah, I think this will be good for now. This won't move, but that's okay. What I'm going to do, This is not particularly easy to do, but we're gonna do it like this. Yeah, that will work. And then we're gonna do it in there. So now we have the tire carrier. This assembly that moves on an arc according with the swash plate and then in and out like such. And again, I can time this more to lock it in place. This is what will need to be done, but I'm just not gonna do it right now. Okay? So this is that. The next step is to install those internal support reinforcement plate. They're aluminum. I'm guessing that you'll see they go actually on this side. And we're gonna go against this bracket and this bracket. And this will ultimately attach to the bumper base itself, where those tabs are. This is what is going to fix your tire carrier to your bumper. And so these plates, those reinforcement plates, go like this. And because this is all aluminum, in essence, it doubles the strength of that particular bracket, because it doubles the thickness of the whole bracket. So to put it on, you grab 3/4 bolt. We're gonna go through this again. Washer. On it goes. In place, effectively doubling the strength of this external plate right here. And again, this will go onto and be bolted onto the tabs that are welded directly onto the base bumper. Okay, so this is it. All right, guys, one final thought on this install. So I wanted to make sure that you understood the amount of adjustment that you have with this tire carrier. Not only can you adjust it fore and aft, bringing your tire closer or further away from your lift gate, you can also tilt the whole entire tire carrier, giving it lift. Or I've seen some people that like to wear to have their tire sort of like at a slight angle, following the angle of their lift gate. Or some of them like to have it pretty vertical behind their car. All of that is adjustable. Finally, because these two brackets here have a slot, this means that also the tire can be swung to the left or to the right and fine-tune where you want that tire to be positioned in relation to your swing arm or to the side of your car, so on and so forth. Also, all this adjustment is great because some of you will run 32s, 33, 34s, even 35s on various rims, 16, 17, 18, and all of that will have an impact on where you want that tire to be positioned in relation to that tire carrier. So again, this is the Dissent Off-Road modular bumper for the Landcruiser 100 series. This is the tire carrier accessory with the lift up table right there. So this will be, once you swing out the tire carrier rather, this will be facing you as you prepare your meal or ranch, or put your equipment, your video equipment, your drone, or whatever you want to put on that table. Will be very convenient. Once you fold it, you use this little latch right here. It needs actually two hands. You only have one. It's pretty tight, which is which is really great. Again, I'm trying to do that in a not particularly easy position, but you swing it, it's completely solid. It has all these little bumpers underneath. It's great. I mean, you will not be disappointed. You can look at the quality of these welds. I mean, it's just outstanding. The powder coating on the whole assembly is fantastic. The grade A bolts, everything is top notch. You may be waiting 19 weeks to get your bumper, but what I can tell you is that you won't be disappointed with the quality. Ben and his team are doing fantastic work. So this concludes this episode. It's a multi-part series. Please bear with me as I learn the trick of the YouTube content creation. I know the sound is probably not the best. I need to buy a better microphone, and you know, I probably stumble on some words, but I will get better as it goes. I hope you like it. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe. Like I said, we will have the next install is the jerry can carrier. I have a 3 jerry can carrier that goes on the opposite swing out. And then we will do the base bumper install, and then we will install those 2 accessories onto the base bumper, and voila, we'll have a complete Dissent Off-Road Landcruiser 100 series modular bumper installed on my Lexus. So stay tuned, and I will check you out later. Thanks, guys.